What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another Bring the Juice Colts podcast live stream. Guys, I kind of wanted to bring this to light because people were talking about the Chris Ballard press conference today. I've only seen like small clips of it. Haven't really seen a whole lot. But I've heard some people say that Ballard seemed whiny or defensive or stuff like that. I've heard other people say that they liked the comments that he had. The majority of people I've seen have said words don't really matter when it comes to Chris Ballard and this team right now, because all we really care about is how it's going to translate on the field. So we will just go ahead and share this and break it down with you guys. But yeah, I definitely am interested to hear what he has to say about this. Let me know. Let me know if you guys can't hear it. But shout out to FanDuel for sponsoring today's stream. Again, guys, FanDuel, great place to be able to try and wing your luck on bets if you guys are interested in football, both college and NFL, or even other sports for any other reason in that matter. They have all of them, so make sure to check out FanDuel today. Yeah, so they did talk a lot about Anthony Richardson today. I heard that the guys had a chance to ask a lot of Anthony Richardson questions, and he was actually kind of wanting people to mention it more when it came to these other, the other players, right? He was getting a little upset at the fact that, so many people were just saying, nah, just quit talking about Anthony Richardson, talk about these other guys as well. So definitely interested in seeing what he has to say here, but give me just 1 second. We'll start this thing up. Okay. Andrew Harmon first with a $5 super chat. Let's go. Indiana Jones, fire Ballard, trade Richardson, let Leonard learn. Well, there's a lot to unpack with that one, but I do appreciate the $5 super chat. Let's see what happens here. All right. I want to get my perspective on this. So let's see what happens here. But again, let me know if you guys can't hear it. You should be able to, but let me just check it.
Great competition. They're pretty good. I was really pleased with during training camp. That was crazy. Anyway, good to see everybody. Last month since we last talked, I thought we had a really good training camp. Great competition. It was physical, I think, as you all saw. We got after it pretty good. I was really pleased with not only the effort, but the intensity day to day of what we went through. Of course, always tough decisions when you're coming in the final cut down, and I don't ever take that lightly. Players that, they've been here for 5-6 months, some of them longer, a couple years, and you got to say, goodbye to them. That's not always easy to do. But it's also part of the game. And I think everybody understands that. I think one of the things, and I talked with our coaching staff about this before we made the cuts, was like, hey, let's make sure that when we do this, every player understands why. Okay, here's the reasoning. All right, here's the things you need to get better at. Because a lot of times it's just like, hey, you're out the door. See you later. Thanks for your time. No, just wanted to make sure that we were pretty explicit in what we, told each guy, hey, these are the reasons why. Most of them had a good idea already, but it also gives them a way to improve. Feel good about the team, feel good about where we're at. We'll still work through the roster as we, based on injuries and things that happen, but excited about the team, excited about the roster. Unfortunate that we lost a couple guys. You know, Freeland's injury at tackle, he was really taking a big step in year 3. Losing Hunter and Wally, that was a blow, which, caused us to have to make some other moves. They were coming along. I mean, both of them are going to be excellent football players in this league. I think all of you saw the progress both of those guys were making, and both kind of like, Wally, I had to keep watching the tape over and over again when he did his, his ACL, and kind of the same thing with Hunter with his foot, but that, that's just part of the game. You have injuries and you got to find a way to find answers. Okay. They're not always, perfect, but you find answers and guys you think you can win with. And we think, and I give my staff a lot of credit for working extremely hard, making sure we had names, making sure we were constantly active and looking for players. But feel good about where we're at, where we're going. Fire away.
So I will say this, when it comes to the situation about, the injuries and everything else that has taken place for the Indianapolis Colts over this last little bit of time, definitely agree that, when it comes to the injuries, Wally and Waller, unfortunate injuries that really kind of sucked because that was huge in our depth and we're very excited for them. And obviously I do believe that Ballard, outside of safety right now, has done a really good job of bringing in some of those veteran corners that can run Lou Anarumo's type defense. So let's see what he has to say.
Since you guys named Daniel starter, have you found it necessary, or have you talked to AR about his future here, how he fits in, or not?
I've not had a lot of talks with AR, but I've had a lot of talks with his agent. Coaching staff handles, they talk to Anthony a bunch. I mean, I've talked to Anthony. Because the one thing I think is getting overshadowed a little bit is Daniel. Because I both of them competed, professional, battled to the end. And at the end of the day, Daniel, won the job. Does that mean we're down on Anthony? No. But I don't want to, dismiss that, Daniel he's had a good run here. It reminds me a lot of Alex Smith that we had in Kansas City, who I thought was just the ultimate professional. Day in and day out, the team knew exactly what they were getting. And I feel that's kind of the same thing with Daniel. So, I know the story's always been about Anthony, but also let's don't lose sight of, Daniel did some good things. And he's been a really good professional. He's been through a lot. And then going to Anthony, like, I know the negativity and it's easy to say, okay, he's done. And I don't agree. I've said this numerous times. I do not agree with that. I think overcoming challenges and obstacles along the way are good for anybody. I do. I'm proud of Anthony, of where he's at, how far he's come. He's come miles. I mean, I want you to think back, and it's tough on any young quarterback in this league.
Okay, so I'm sorry to cut it off midpoint, but I gotta address it while I have all these people in here, and I just want to mention it while I have it. Again, like the stream, guys, if you haven't already. It helps the algorithm, helps it get out to more people. So he brought up Daniel Jones and brought up Alex Smith. Now, that only works in a comparison if he turns out like Alex Smith, right? Where Alex Smith, when he first got into the league, Alex Smith was not a very good quarterback, or at least wasn't doing well when he started. And then when he came to Kansas City and, got around Coach Reed and a few other people and came into the culture that they have, it's definitely, it's definitely a thing. And obviously environment does matter. People have said it before. Like, if Daniel Jones comes into Indy, is it going to be better here in Indy than it was in his time in New York? right? He took those lessons from New York. How does he handle being with the Indianapolis Colts? Because, the Indianapolis Colts, while our room isn't necessarily while our team isn't necessarily the idea of a winning culture right now, I definitely believe that we're better than the New York Giants right now. I do firmly believe that. Andrew Harmon again with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Top 10 defense with a mid-level offense still can win the division. Daniel Jones with the O-line is scary. Texans don't have an O-line. Agree with that. Thank you, Andrew, for the $5 super chat. So yeah, because the Colts are, while Jonathan Taylor may not be Saquon Barkley, so he's still a really good running back. He has a better offensive line than he ever had in New York. He has better weapons around him than he ever had in New York. And you have a coach that, is revered for his imagination and how the game planning goes. Same thing as what Dayball did when he first got there. So, you have a good situation. Now, does Daniel Jones take advantage of that? And do you start being like what those Kansas City Chiefs were in the early 2010s, where every year they were winning 10, 11, maybe 12 games and making it to the playoffs practically every year? Now, they never got anywhere with it, but that is something that happened. They got better and they were constantly in the playoff picture. They maybe weren't serious contenders, but they were in the playoff picture. And, everyone's talking about the same thing where it's like, well, Alex Smith clearly couldn't get the job done. That means Patrick Mahomes eventually had to come in. And that's where Chris Ballard's talk of Anthony Richardson coming back. He says that he still does not really believe that Anthony Richardson is done. And I think James even asked him a question later on about this. But again, no quarterback in the history of the NFL that early ever comes back from getting benched twice by the team that drafted him. He might end up going somewhere else and might succeed somewhere else. But very rarely does a top quarterback get selected early in the draft and stay with the team that ended up benching him multiple times. It just doesn't happen. So, again, the whole, is it going to be Anthony Richardson that breaks that curve and ends up a little bit like a Patrick Mahomes type-esque thing? I don't know. But let's keep listening.
But for him to keep taking the growth steps that he has and to work so hard and then not get the goal for himself, all right, now to continue to do that, that's when we got a chance to see real growth. And there's some value, there's a lot of value in sitting behind a guy that's a professional and watching and learning and growing and working on the things you need to work on without the same pressure of being the starter. There's a lot of good to that.
So the ultimate problem with what Ballard stated here is, again, it's the reason why the words come back to hurt when it comes to these things. He said that obviously there comes a good thing about sitting behind a professional and learning and knowing that it doesn't come with the same pressure as being the starter. Well, why didn't you do that when you first drafted him? Obviously, when it came to the Colts Nation, we wanted to see him play right away for the most part. But if you had said, hey, we got Gardner Minshew in the building, we're going to have Gardner Minshew start, we're going to have Anthony Richardson just learn behind this guy, then, as much as maybe people like me wouldn't have much of enjoyed that, I can understand it from that perspective. But the problem is you're saying that now when he's about to enter year 3 after he just lost a quarterback competition. And he said, oh, he's improved miles. He's improved miles. So you're telling me you gave the guy who wasn't ready to drive the car the keys to the car and let him drive it despite him not being ready? Is that what we're saying? That's what I'm gathering from this situation. How much more does he need to go before you start to say that Anthony Richardson has improved enough to trust that we can have him lead this team? I don't know.
When you made the move, has anyone contacted you about trading, get him in a trade?
Yeah, no, but we're not trading him.
Chris, you talked about Anthony and him have to go through.
So obviously that's the big one. He says they have no plans to trade AR. From what I'm gathering from this and from so on, is obviously Ballard does not want to give up on Anthony Richardson, because if he does, then you live or die by Daniel Jones. You live or die by that. And you don't get a chance to get another quarterback. So that's your issue.
Things. What is like the long-term plan for him, and how clearly can you lay that out for someone who a couple years ago was the number 4 pick in the draft and now has been put on the bench for the second time?
Yeah, and that's a fair question. But what I would tell you is, like, everybody's growth and path and journey in this league is different. Okay, they are. And they're not always, I wish I could draw a straight line from A to B and say, this is the thing, this is how it's going to go. Okay, we're going to start here and we're going to end up here. Well, we all know that's not life. That's not real life. And it's the same thing with Anthony. Like, there's up and down, and there you see growth, and then there's some moments where you say, okay, we need to get better at that. So I think following Daniel and watching him work, and if he continues with the growth that he's had, like, Anthony's been good. He has, and he's made tremendous strides. Is he there yet? No. But does he have work to do? Yes. And Anthony will acknowledge that. Like, I'm really proud of it's like one of the fun parts of this job is watching guys just start to really mature. And I know everybody thinks that a 20, 21, 22-year-old young man should be a grown man, all right, in everything they do. But that's not the case in any world. With anything you're doing in life. Like, these are young people, and it takes some time. So to watch him grow and to continue to mature, and then to handle the adversity. Like, there's 2 ways you can handle this. Like, you can go in the dumps, or you can accept the challenge, and accept the challenge to keep getting better, be prepared, continue to work on your fundamentals, continue to work on the daily game planning that has to happen as a quarterback, to collaborate with the other quarterbacks in your game planning, and then being ready to go, because you're 1 snap away. That's real. That is real. And that's a natural development. I know you want me to sit here and give you an A to B plan. Look, it's about daily, everyday work and doing it without the pressure of being the starter. And saying all of that, we're getting lost again. Like, Daniel's done a lot of good things. I mean, y'all saw the practice. He did some good things, and he's a good player, and he's an ultimate professional, and he's a consistent player day in and day out.
So along those lines, why do you all think you can have a successful season with Daniel Jones when I asked Shane Steichen, okay, what things do you lean on to look at for this guy to believe in him? And he goes back to 2022. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to 2022. I'm going to what we've seen since he's been here.
I guess, can you explain what things have you seen to give you that confidence that he can be a winning quarterback?
His ability to run the offense, to get him out of good and bad plays, to know the checks, just the things that most veteran quarterbacks can do, and to make sure that we're continually moving the chains. That consistency is a good thing. And look, he has some explosive ability in him too. And I think we saw that in the preseason.
The quarterback decision is.
I can get behind that. I do believe that Daniel Jones gives you a better chance at consistency of moving the chains and stuff like that. And I do get that answer. I do.
Quarterback decision that's made. But the one thing I would ask you is the idea that Anthony can grow more in year 3 on the sideline does not make any sense to me. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think and I think I explained it earlier. I don't know if you were listening. You're a good listener too, but I think there's times when, yeah, oh yeah. I mean, you got your question, your loaded up question that you want to answer. So that's what y'all don't listen to what I said before.
So that's where that quote came from. Jesus. Okay. I mean, look, I get it. I get it in a way that, a lot of times, media questions can feel like they're repetitive. I get it. But I mean, everybody's trying to get every angle here, man. Everybody's trying to get every angle.
I think it is good for young players, especially at the quarterback position, if they're not completely ready, to sit back without the pressure of daily pressure of having to perform. Now, the pressure is still there because he's one play away, but it's much different. It's much different. I just think the little intricacies that they can learn by doing the backup role can serve them well, because he's still serving the start. Let's don't forget that backup role still serving the starter. Okay. And that's different. That's different, and it's different for Anthony. It's an area that, he's embraced, and it's been fun to watch so far, and would be fun to watch as we go forward.
I mean, it's fair, critique him all you want, but asking the same question over and over a different way is annoying to anyone. Yeah. And I mean, but I will also say to that matter is I think he says something else here in a few minutes, but I mean, again, you shocked everyone with this announcement. The majority of people thought Anthony Richardson was going to get a shot, and now you haven't. And now it's all anyone could talk about, because it was all anyone could talk about during the off season. And now right before the season, we now know this, and now it's all we can talk about again, because that's all anyone cares about. So you have to be prepared for that. Tyler Cook with the Canadian $5. Do you think the Colts will be in a position in the first round to draft a good quarterback? What's your prediction? No, I don't believe so. I'd like to think this team wins 8 or 9 games, which, if you win 8 or 9 games, that puts you right in the middle of the draft order, puts you, anywhere from pick 13 to pick 19, it's, and that's really that's kind of a purgatory position. But if you are somewhere around 15, the Colts can trade up to get a quarterback. They can trade up. If you give up enough, somebody will take it. So Andrew Harmon again with the $2 super chat. Don't forget the Notre Dame quarterback we just stole. Riley Leonard will not be the starting quarterback at all this year unless both these guys are absolute garbage or one of them's hurt. Oh, Mike, so Ballard will never trade up? Yes, and the good thing is Chris Ballard should never have the opportunity to pick another quarterback ever again. So either this year, after this year, Anthony Richardson will be the starting quarterback in 2026, or we're getting a new GM with a new coach, new quarterback, and everything's reshuffling.
Growth off the field or on?
He's a good kid. Like, I don't worry about, I think with any young person, like any young player on our team, when they come in the building, you would hope that they're ready-made, ready to go, professionals in every aspect of both in the building and out of the building. But like I said earlier, young men take time to grow. They just do. They have to learn and grow. And I think he's done a really good job managing all the expectations, not only externally, but internally. And I think he's growing in that area.
Looking at AR's time with the franchise, at first you always say we should probably start him, and you did, and then you benched him last year, and then 2 weeks later you put him back in the starting lineup, and then now he's taking a step back again. So with so much flip-flopping in a matter of months, why should people believe in the plan you have now for him versus the plan you all previously had?
Well, I don't quite so you're really good asking questions because you always get to why should people believe? I don't know how to answer why should people believe. Like, I think you know the answer. They believe when you win. If you don't, they don't believe. Like, it wouldn't matter who was the quarterback. They wouldn't believe. If you didn't win, they're not going to believe. If you win, they give you a little more benefit of the doubt, and then y'all help put doubt to make sure there's questions being asked. That's the only way I know how to answer that one. I don't know what you want me to say.
I can agree. I mean, at least he outright admits it. He's right. Like, you can't answer that question because it's pretty straightforward. Like, why should people believe in the plan that you have? Again, that's kind of the premise of this, right? Is that we as Colts fans have, I think most people in the chat would agree with me that Ballard's words kind of don't carry as much weight anymore. Because we've heard it all before. We've heard it all before, and it just hasn't worked out. It hasn't worked out. We haven't been winning games. We haven't been reaching the playoffs. We haven't been winning the division. All this stuff. We have nothing to show for in his tenure with this team. So obviously, when you take that into account, I mean, the words don't matter. It's just when you start winning games, we'll believe that you know what you're doing, because so far you haven't been winning games over the last 5 years, and we can clearly see it hasn't been working. So the last 5 years, you've had almost as many losing seasons as you've had winning seasons. And in those winning seasons over the last 5 years, you haven't really done much to act in those winning seasons. So it matters a lot.
Winning affect your ability to believe?
I think it affects everybody. I mean, I think everybody, like, winning is, and look, you can win sometimes and not deserve it, and lose sometimes and deserve to win. That's the nature of sports. But I think anytime you get over the hump and get to the goal you're trying to reach, there's a confidence level in everybody. And look, we had it going pretty good there for a while. And, at the end of 21, we kind of started going down this road where I don't want to say we've lost our confidence, but we've not been able to finish things out seasons like we need to. And that's something we think we're going to improve on.
Anthony's past performance and availability, for sure, is kind of what brought us to
Yeah.
the two quarterback situation, right? Daniel's recent past performance is not great, at least on paper, statistically. How much are you examining that part of it? And is there any possibility of overlooking any of that?
I mean, look, I just examined what we watched over the last few months.
I mean, guys, we're halfway through this presser, and there has not been a single question outside of an Anthony Richardson thing. I mean, you had to understand this was coming. You had to expect it. This team he'll get more questions middle of the year or end of the year when this team, does something. But right now it's just all quarterback questions.
Okay. And that's it. I don't want to overcomplicate that any more than it is. I'm not going to get into, but there's examples of guys that have had rough starts to their careers and have absolutely bounced back and had good careers. And there's examples of guys who've been benched who come back and play. So that we just judge what we have right now. We do have like 51 other guys on the team. Do we have any other questions on the team?
This is where he starts letting it go. He's starting to let it out a little bit. He's like, I'm tired of answering about Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. We got 51 other guys on this team. So again, he's tired of that question. And look, again, I understand why he's frustrated, but you made a drastically big decision that the majority of people, both as fans and as media members, were shocked to see you make, because it puts you in the same position that you have been in multiple times over the last few years. So people have questions and you can't run away from it. But we'll see here.
You can keep spinning this other one as many ways as you want, but we do have 51 other teams. Absolutely. And look, let me say this. They deserve to ask these questions. And I deserve, and look, I understand the doubt. I get it. And that's our job to go prove it at the end of the day. It's a long season. And, things are good and bad. You have good moments and bad moments. But like I said before, like when you win, it sure helps a lot of those issues.
Chris, you said previously that you regret having played Anthony right away. Were you pressured by ownership to put him out there?
No, don't. No, come on, Bob. No, not at all. We made the decision. You learn sometimes with decisions that didn't go the way you wish they would have gone. And so, but no, there was no pressure. No.
Did enough or maybe the right homework on Anthony coming out of Florida?
No, we knew. We knew he was wrong. We knew it was going to take time. I think everybody knew. Yeah, I think we knew. And we knew it was going to be a little bit of a roller coaster. Absolutely. I mean, just his history in college. And so that's just part of the growth. No, sometimes you got to take a swing. We took a swing. And look, I'm not ready to say that we missed, because I don't think we have yet. I think Anthony has a bright future. I believe that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that works. And kind of crazy to hear him say that he kind of regrets how he handled the situation. I guess I can't really say that too much, because, you're allowed to make differences in how you feel about things, the way things turn out, Tyler Cook with another 5 Canadian. I'm not ready to give up on Steichen. Let's see what he does this season. This is the best team he's had so far. Ballard should have been fired, though. Well, we're going to find out after this year. If the Colts don't make the playoffs, don't win the division, and don't win more games than they lose, then yeah, we're probably going to end up with another GM. But if they don't, and they end up winning more games than they lose, and then they make the playoffs and whatnot, they're probably going to keep their jobs. So,
Anything else?
Yeah, I've got a just to break the trend. What has gone on is going on with the cornerback room. It's just night and day who's in there.
Yeah. So, I mean, all of a sudden you lose Wally, who we were really excited about. Juju, poor kid just had bad luck. He's a great young man. He's very talented. He's just had some bad luck. I'm hoping for him, maybe a change of scenery, and he'll get it turned around where he can stay healthy. But we just, going into it, we knew we needed, to go when we made we went and got Mooney. We thought that was a really good signing and gave us a true, number one corner that has a proven track record. And then when Wally went down, and then all of a sudden Jones is down, Juju's down, we're like, okay, what? We got to start finding some answers here. Lou had a history with Xavier. I actually worked Xavier out in college when I was with the Chiefs, and we were really high on Xavier, and he has a proven track record of being a good player. I know the year out, he hadn't played, but I think that might have ended up being good for his body because he's looked really good. And then the move for Blackman in Minnesota was something we'd kind of been playing with over the last 3 or 4 weeks with Minnesota, and feel fortunate to get him because we think he can play a few different roles. He can play both inside and outside. He's a good cover guy. He's aggressive. So we're excited about getting him and that depth, and then getting Jones. We'll get Jones back here up and running, and I still believe in Jones. I think Jones can be a really good player. And then Edwards was, from Tulane, who was undrafted. Man, I think he did a lot of really good things this preseason. He's big. He's a good athlete. He can run. He's conscientious. He's tough. Like, there's a lot of great qualities that I think Edwards has. So yes, there has been significant change in that room. Some based on injuries from where we started, some based on, look, we knew we needed to get better. We knew we needed to get better there.
So yeah, I actually really like our cornerback room. I really do feel that there is a good group there. You got a bunch of veterans that are starting for you. Again, Charvarius Ward, Xavier Howard, and Kenny Moore. If you said back in 2022, not even 2022, the year before that, so 2020, 2021, if you had those three on a secondary to start, you would have been looking at probably the best secondary in the entire NFL, and I don't think it would have been close. I don't think it'd be close because Charvarius Ward was playing, just starting to play at a high level at that point. Kenny Moore was playing at a high level at that point. So was Xavier Howard. Now, obviously, these guys are a little bit older. Guys aren't going to be around for as long, but these are still veterans that know Lou Anarumo's defense, know how it works, and have real good ball skills. So I think that it will work out for them in the long run. Jokes and a point with $5 super chat. Listen to Schefter and Chris Sims. Jones is better than Colt Nation wants to accept. AR got hurt twice. Didn't see an easy blitz. Well, I mean, the last couple things, you're obviously right there. I'll be honest, and thank you for the $5 super chat, by the way. I will never take advice from Schefter and Chris Sims. I know that you may find that crazy. I don't believe in Chris Sims' opinion about things. He has had some wildly stupid opinions about certain players and about certain things. So I can't really say much about that. And as far as Schefter goes, Schefter knows how to report football news. He is not a football analyst. So not looking for that. So it is what it is. Sarah, at 23 months as a member of this channel. Derek and Cody, you both are amazing. Love our cornerbacks. Love that. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Sign Justin Simmons and Von Bell. I'd be down for either one of those guys. Yeah, I'd be down for that. All right, let's continue with this.
You get with Muma, the guy you got from Jacksonville.
Who?
Chad Muma. Jacksonville. Linebacker.
Oh, we claimed him. We got him. Okay, here we go. News to me. I'm glad I just got good. I mean, Twitter is unbelievable. It is a news source. No, look, we knew we kept 4, knew we wanted to add, another guy. We're still going to bring some other guys in. It's different than it was in the past because in the past we usually kept 6 and dressed 6 in the schemes we were in before, but now, a little differently where, he'll play some.
So you're contradicting yourself, Austin, because you're saying Danny Dimes is so much better than Anthony Richardson. And yet Anthony Richardson led teams are pretty sure he is 8-8 as a starter, or maybe 8-7 as a starter. And yet you want to tell me that Daniel Jones is way better, but yet somehow they're not even close to making a playoff team, making as a playoff team. That's weird. That's a weird thing to bring up.
Dime. So we're really only playing with a Mike and a Will. But Muma's, we liked him coming out. He could play probably both Will and Mike. He's good on teams. We liked him coming out of Wyoming. He's had some experience playing, so that's good. Good. I'm excited. I don't get to be, but excited to find out we got him.
Where do you like positions of strength, either side of the ball for you right now?
I think we're really good up front. I think we're going to be really good up front on both sides of the ball. I think our wideout room is really good. We had to make some cuts there that I thought were pretty tough. I thought Treadwell, I love Treadwell. Think of this. I mean, guy's, over 30 years old, former first-round pick, competes his ass off every day. But it's a good room. It's an excellent room. It's like when you think in terms of like a basketball team, you've kind of got all the elements that you want when you're building a basketball team. You got a big man in Pitt who can win, both short, intermediate, and down the field with his size. You have Pierce who can stretch it. You have a young player in A.D. Mitchell who we think's, got big upside that, can create off after the catch. You got Josh Downs who I think is just tremendous. And then you got, Anthony Gould, who's coming on, and then, Mr. Reliable Doolin, who every time we put him in the game, he catches the ball and does well and is great on teams. So it's an excellent room, and every room kind of have a niched out role. But I do like the strength. I like our tight end room a lot.
Question, or is this what you?
He's pretty good. We thought he's going to be pretty good. And we think he's going to be a really good pro. I don't want to put undue expectations on him, but he's pretty freaking good.
Sorry, did you?
So, yeah, I agree with the wide receiver room. It's a great room. I know a lot of people upset that Coleman Owen didn't make the team, or that Treadwell didn't make the team. I know Owen is on our practice squad now. I don't know about Treadwell. I don't think he never got claimed by us. I don't know if he got claimed by somebody else. But we'll see what happens.
You didn't know about the claim guy until someone told you in here?
No, I just found out. You told me. Good. I knew we put it in. I just didn't know we got him.
Did you put in any other claims?
No. That was a good one, though. That was good. That's good.
Your offensive line depth, are you, obviously you mentioned Freeland, that was a hit. Jalen's young.
Yeah.
What do you think there?
Look, I think Jalen Travis is going to be excellent. I do. He is big. Now, that's one that I'm not going to say surprised me, but he's come along faster than I thought he would. And he's a much better athlete. I thought he was a decent athlete, but he's a much better athlete. You ought to watch him in there skipping rope in the weight room. It's impressive for a 340-pound guy. I like where Tucker's at. Tucker's really come along. Being an undrafted guy a year ago, having to get thrown in the mix and start some games. And, he had some struggles, but bounced back from that. I'm excited about him. I was excited when we actually put him in there at center, and he looked pretty good. Danny Penner was dealing with a knee kind of all of camp, but we've got to calm down. He does. So, we've played good football with Danny, and then keeping Tenuta, who, we claimed him a few years back, and then he kind of bounced around, and then ability to get him back and his ability to play both left and right tackle. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about our depth there.
Is there anything going on with Mike Hilton
Let me just say this. We're going to explore guys right now. We're going to explore vets. You're going to see it over the next 10 days. You're going to see it over the next month. We're going to bring guys in. That's what we do. We're going to kick the tires, make sure that we have a list of guys that if we have to go to, we can go to them.
How much pressure do you, personal pressure, responsibility, whatever, do you personally feel going into year 9, and knowing that in a way you've made another big decision to go with Daniel Jones and roll with that and going into a year where things have changed?
I don't know. I think y'all all know me well enough that
There's the line.
I care deeply about this organization and city.
You guys know me.
The fans, the way they treat you, they're great. Now I got a few emails that were nasty, but I always wonder if that's from what basement is some dude writing that from. But saying that, I just don't roll that way. I never have. I never rolled that way where I worry about, what the future holds. I'm fortunate to work in the National Football League. I've always been grateful, and I will never take one day for granted, whatever the role. This is a unique place. I could have to go get a real job for a living. That would suck. That would really suck. So no pressure in that way. No.
In your combos with Carly, how would you define success this upcoming season?
Winning. We always do. We're accomplishing our goals. We all know. I don't think I've ever shied away from the fact that we haven't been good enough. I never shied away from that. And she doesn't either. She's just competitive. Both of them are. It's not just Carly, but so is Kaylin and so is Casey. They're competitive. I think that's the one thing about Jim that I really loved was, God, he was competitive, wanted to win. They got the same gene. So I mean, success is winning. I mean, like, I think we all would agree with that. Like, success is not losing, it's winning. So that's what the goal is.
Last one here.
What gives you confidence in AR going back to the bench and learning and take things, I guess, slow when just historically, and correct me if I'm wrong, I try to go back and find, like, when's the last time a quarterback of this caliber or drafted this high was benched twice this early? Like, it just hasn't worked with that team. So what gives you confidence that it can still work here when we just haven't seen it? At least I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Alex Smith went through some struggles and had success in San Francisco. He did, took him to the playoffs. It got hurt, and Cap ended up coming in. But there's been example, at least one. I don't know. I just feel like the progress he's making, if he continues down this road, we're going to be able to see that talent come to light. I just, like, there's always got to be one time, right? So why not him? And I do believe that. His progress has been good. Like, you're going to ask Downing questions the whole time, James. I get it. And I understand why. But at the end of the day, time is what, like, I can sit over and give you every answer you want. Okay. But at the end of the day, time is what proves you're right or wrong, and your actions and how it plays out. I think it's sure in him. I do. I think it's in him. Whether that happens or not, we'll see. But I do think that's in him.
Breakfast wasn't done yet or not?
No. Is it already on Twitter?
So
Yeah. Okay. So they cut the feed after that. My dog just proceeded to sit on my headphone cord while that was still going. So I didn't know if he unplugged my thing or not. Thanks, Colt. Appreciate that. Jeez. Okay. Yeah, but hearing that quote at the end of that, I don't know, just something about hearing that made me feel better about it in a way. I don't know. Like, why can't it be him? It's, I don't know. It's interesting. Here, you want up here? Come here. Come here. Come here. And I'm not going to pick you up if you don't come to me. Colt with an Indianapolis Colts shirt on. But yeah. So that was Chris Ballard and his presser, his season presser before everything goes. But what's up, buddy? Say hi to the folks. Hi, everyone. Hi, Colts Nation. I'm Colt. All right, I'll let you down. Oh, you would stay right here? Okay. But yeah, so I will have to disagree with how Cody felt about the presser. I know he was very discouraged with it. But I'll tell you, I'll be honest, I didn't really get a whole I didn't really get like angry with it. But I think it's kind of I think it kind of just feels like the same normal presser we usually get, saying there's a lot of optimism. We don't really feel it right now, and I mean, that's what everybody was saying is, like, why should fans have faith in your guys' plan going forward? And right now we really don't. And that's not to be shameful. I mean, I don't really have much faith in the direction of this team going forward. I wish I did, but even if, guys, I'm going to say this, even if we go 10-7, 11-6, and we make the playoffs, will I be happy with the team and their success in the year? Absolutely. But will I be confident in the long-term future of this program? I can't really say that I am. Now, obviously, if Shane Steichen and Daniel Jones lead this team to the playoffs, then I'm going to look at it and I'm going to say, that gives me confidence in Steichen. I don't know how much I feel about Chris Ballard, though, because, again, despite what Chris Ballard has done this offseason, it's a great way to put it. You'll be happy, but you won't be satisfied. Yeah, pretty much it. Because you're still looking for your franchise guy. Ultimately, I won't feel great about where this organization is at until they find the franchise guy and start building a team around him that can win. Right now, we don't have that. So regardless of what happens this year, it's hard to envision a path where I'm going to be satisfied with how this is going to go. Because, on the other hand, on one hand, you don't do well, you just reshuffle and everything goes out the door, or you win a lot and, you continue with the regime that you have. So Jones gets you to the playoffs with Steichen and you're just happy with Steichen. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not, because it's taken so many years for Ballard to catch up with the program. So we just, and I'm not saying, I don't really believe that Daniel Jones is our franchise quarterback. I'm sorry. I don't believe that. Even if they take us to the playoffs this year, am I still going to be under the impression that Daniel Jones is the franchise quarterback of this team? No. You had Alex Smith at Kansas City. He just brought up that comparison. Alex Smith was never the franchise quarterback. He was the game-managing quarterback that helped you get to the playoffs every year, but that was as high as you could possibly get. You couldn't win a Super Bowl with a guy that was incapable of making the big plays all the time. And that's what I feel about Daniel Jones. And even if this year we win 10 games, maybe even 11, and Daniel Jones doesn't pop off, then he's not the franchise guy. Yes, I will say that openly and admittingly. So what? So what? Those stats that's not elite. It's not elite numbers. 26 touchdowns in 16 games. That's not even 2 touchdowns a game, brother. Who cares about the yards? 4K yards? I don't give a shit. Ain't nobody care about yards. I don't care about stats. I just want to see a guy being able to elevate this team. And everyone knows that Alex Smith was not the guy. He was a good quarterback. He wasn't the great quarterback. He's not the franchise guy. But we'll see about this team, man. We'll have to see going forward. But I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. Again, thank you so much to everyone that tuned in. Greatly appreciate all the support on the channel recently. The numbers have been great as far as views and new subscribers. I mean, we've gotten over 200 new subscribers since the beginning of the month. So it's truly incredible. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys should have Jason Spears on. Yeah, we had him on a while back. I'll have to talk with him again, see how it works. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. Let me know your guys' thoughts. We'll continue to keep you guys updated. Thank you so much. And as always, go Colts.